Okay, picture this. It's the 2026 Winter Olympics, you're watching the opening ceremony, and then a single, really mysterious symbol appears, and the internet just explodes. Was it just some cool art? Or, as some people are claiming, was it a sign, a carefully chosen symbol pointing to a really ancient and complex prophecy?
It really gets you thinking, doesn't it? I mean, are these huge global events just about entertainment, or could there be something more going on, like a hidden message being broadcast to billions of us all at once? Well, that's the exact question that's at the heart of the whole theory we're digging into today. So let's get right into it and start where this whole thing kicked off, with that one single symbol that showed up at the Olympics. Right, so the date is February 7th, 2026. The world is watching, and then this one particular visual, this strange, unfamiliar symbol, it catches people's attention. And for some, it sent them right down a rabbit hole looking for answers. Almost immediately, a connection was made to this very old, kind of obscure myth. They said the symbol was linked to a legendary land from Greek tradition called Hyperborea. So what on earth is Hyperborea? To really get why this connection is so, well, explosive, we first need to understand what the myth of Hyperborea is all about. Okay, so according to the ancient Greeks, Hyperborea was this perfect sun-drenched paradise. It was supposedly located way up in the far north, literally beyond the north wind. It was seen as this place that was completely separate from all the struggles of our world. And when I say paradise, I mean it. The stories describe a land where it's always spring. There's no sickness, no getting old, and definitely no war. The people there were said to live these impossibly long, happy lives. The myth even mentions 4 rivers, a detail that, some people have connected to the rivers of paradise you find in other religious traditions. So this leads us to the big question, right? Why would a modern global event like the Olympics use a symbol for an ancient mythical paradise? Well, the theory we're looking at says the answer has nothing to do with mythology. It's about something else entirely. And this is where things take a really dramatic turn. This is where the ancient Greek myth gets connected to a major figure from Islamic end times prophecy. The theory goes like this. The symbol isn't really about Hyperborea. Instead, it's a direct reference to a prophecy about the Dajjal, a deceiver figure who is often compared to the Antichrist. And the core of that prophecy is that he will try to trick all of humanity by offering a false heaven, an illusion of a perfect world that's actually a trap. And when you put them side by side, the parallel is pretty striking. On one side, you've got the myth of Hyperborea, a perfect world, no pain. On the other, the prophecy of the Dajjal's false heaven, which only looks perfect. Both are these beautiful, alluring dreams of paradise. But according to this theory, one is a myth being used to foreshadow a great deception. So if you follow this theory, it's not just about one symbol at one event. It actually points to a much bigger idea about how symbols and psychological influence might be used today. The argument is that this isn't just a coincidence. It's part of a deliberate, long-term plan of psychological conditioning. Basically, a way of getting the minds of people all over the world ready for something big that's supposed to come. And this alleged process is broken down into 4 steps. First, you introduce a really powerful, attractive symbol, like Hyperborea. Second, you connect that symbol to a deep-seated human desire, the wish for a perfect world. Third, you repeat this symbol over and over again at major global events. And the final step, you get people conditioned, so they're way more likely to accept it when a figure finally shows up, promising to make that fantasy a reality. And this whole idea really boils down to something simple but powerful, summed up in this quote. In the war of narratives, a picture is more powerful than 1,000 words. It suggests that we're living in an age where the biggest battles aren't fought with armies, but with symbols that can shape how we think without us even noticing. Now, of course, there are 2 completely different ways to look at all of this. It really just boils down to 2 competing interpretations. So here's what it comes down to. On one hand, you have the view that this is some sophisticated, long-term plan to psychologically prep humanity for a massive deception. And on the other hand, you have the view that it's just art. It's a cultural reference, a creative choice with absolutely no hidden agenda at all. Ultimately, the source's conclusion isn't about telling you what to believe. Instead, it really emphasizes the need for us to be vigilant, to be aware, to think critically, and to do our own research before we jump to any conclusions. And that brings us to one last, really crucial thought on this whole subject. This quote just says it all, really. In the world of symbols, it has become more necessary than ever to keep your eyes open, to ask questions, and to think with awareness. Whether you see hidden messages or just pretty pictures, the core message is that in a world that's just saturated with symbols, the most important skill we have is the ability to think for ourselves. Which leaves us with one final, lingering question. In this age of information and misinformation and powerful symbols everywhere, when one single image can hold a dozen different meanings, the real challenge falls to each of us. How do we possibly navigate it all and decide for ourselves what's real?